Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes, Godbreaker at online booksellers today. Most black bootlicks believe that they have risen to the highest positions in the white supremacist social hierarchy. And many of these black bootlicks think that they have arrived to a high place in white supremacy because they have received these degrees from prominent Ivy League institutions. They have these corporate executive jobs, or they have these high political positions, or they are major players in the entertainment industry. And most of these black bootlicks believe because they have received these prominent positions in the white supremacist social hierarchy that they have achieved some sort of success that makes them better than every common black person. However, what the black bootlick doesn't understand is that they have actually been set up to take a huge fall as the punchline of an incredibly cruel joke that white supremacy loves to play. Now, Ralph Ellison in his novel Invisible Man showed us a snippet of that cruel joke in the chapter where he talked about the black males who went to get the money off the carpet. Now, these were some of the most educated black people who were scrambling for that change, and as they scrambled for that change on that electrified carpet, they didn't know that they were being set up to be the punchline of a cruel joke that the white supremacists were playing in that chapter of Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. And the same thing goes on with many of these black bootlicks who think that by going out here and making compromises with white supremacy, that they will gain some favor with the white supremacists, not understanding that the white supremacist plays chess and they're not playing checkers at all. Because the white supremacist already knows that the black bootlick is desperate for attention, and the black bootlick is desperate for white approval, and they know that all they have to do is withhold their validation, and this black bootlick will go out here and sacrifice their intangibles of manhood and womanhood, such as their dignity and their self-respect, in order to gain the attention and favor of the white supremacist. And they will go out here and participate in all sorts of embarrassing behaviors to gain that favor and attention from those white supremacists. So what they will do is go out here and let the black bootlick believe that they are able to climb their social ladder. And as the black bootlick believes that they actually have an opportunity, they cannot see how they are being set up to be the punchline of an incredibly cruel joke. Now, in comedy, there are two parts to a gag, and one part is the setup, and the other part is the delivery, which gives us the punchline, which gives us the laugh. And in the joke that white supremacists love to play on black bootlicks, what they love to do is set the black bootlick up to take the punchline of their incredibly cruel gag. And the longer time that the white supremacist takes to set up the gag, the more hilarious the punchline is for the white supremacist. And the sad part is most of the black bootlicks who are set up for this gag have no idea that they are the butt of the joke. Now, that's the way the white supremacist loves to play this joke. They love to set up the most educated, the most intelligent, the most prominent black people, because if they go out here and set up the most prominent black people for this cruel joke, then it makes the punchline that more hilarious, because the joke that they want to tell themselves is that blacks are inferior, blacks are stupid, and they will fall for basically anything, and it doesn't matter whether they come from the so-called black elite or they come from the most prominent parts of black society. The fact that they are there and just fell for the game, this is what makes the white supremacists smile, because what they want to do is set the black person up so that they can basically be the butt of that joke. And as they're that butt of that joke, they can sit there and have a laugh by trying to prove that this black person is inferior to them. And the sad part is, most of the black bootlicks, because they are not aware of the subtle politics transpiring around them, really cannot see how they are actually being set up for that cruel joke that the white supremacist wants to play on them. No, most of the black bootlicks, they are just so caught up in trying to get white acceptance and white approval, and they believe that being elevated in society by white people is going to allow them to move ahead, not understanding that the white supremacists never had any interest in allowing them to move higher up in society. No, what they wanted to do was just make this person believe that they had a chance when they never had a chance at all, because the entire game was completely rigged. And we've got lots of black bootlicks out here who think that they're going somewhere when they're actually basically going nowhere at all. An example of this was shown with actress Halle Berry, who thought she had basically arrived when she had went out here and participated in that degrading sex scene with Billy Bob Thornton in the movie Monsters Ball. She thought that she was going to go on her way to becoming a part of Hollywood's A-list, and when she got the Best Actress Oscar, she thought that she was going to be able to open doors, not understanding that the white supremacists had already set her up to be the punchline of their cruel joke. What they got Halle Berry to do was go out here and compromise her intangibles of womanhood, because she said she would not do nude scenes in movies that were made by black producers. However, she was willing to compromise that intangible of her dignity to do the movie Swordfish, then do the sex scene in Monsters Ball, and then after she got the Oscar, she thought she had success, not understanding the white supremacist didn't care about the Oscar. What he wanted to do was set her up to be the punchline of a joke that a black woman would be a Jezebel if you gave her the right opportunities. That's basically what the white supremacists wanted to do, was set her up to be the punchline of their joke, which proves their white supremacist talking points about black women. That's what they were setting Halle Berry up as related to their punchline. But sadly, Halle Berry was so caught up in her feelings about becoming a part of Hollywood's A-list that she could not see that the white supremacist was basically using her to make a point, as they went out here and had a laugh at her expense. Because after Halle Berry sacrificed her dignity and her intangibles of womanhood, the white supremacists got a good laugh at the punchline that they set up. And the white supremacists love doing cruel things like this, and they love taking the long route to get that punchline. A white supremacist will go years on setting up a gag, and as they go years on setting up that gag, what they do is wait for the punchline, and then after they get the punchline and humiliate the black person, they go out here and make it where that black person regrets ever compromising their intangibles of character. Now, a guy who is basically being set up right now for a punchline is New York Mayor Eric Adams. And right now, New York Mayor Eric Adams is a guy who doesn't see how the white supremacists are setting him up for being the punchline. Now, when it comes down to many black politicians, they believe that they have gained some success, not understanding that the white supremacist sets people up to be the punchline of their joke. And in many cases, what they love to do with many black people who are in politics is find the most naive and inexperienced person, and they love to put them in a prominent position, and then as they're in that prominent position, they love to set them up so that they can go out here and fail. And they love to set black politicians up so that they can fail, because what the white supremacist wants to prove is their point, that when you give a black person power, they will not be able to handle that power. This is the point that they love to make in their movies like Birth, the original Birth of a Nation, that if you gave a black person power, they would not know how to handle it. However, this whole joke, it basically is rigged, because they know to choose a person who they believe that they can get in front of, and they can go out here and take advantage of. And again, because the person is so caught up in their feelings about the attention that they're receiving from those whites in prominent places, they're not seeing the subtle politics transpiring around them, and they can't see how they are the punchline of a cruel joke that is played on them. And what's happening to Eric Adams right now is that he's thinking that he has arrived as related to becoming New York's second black mayor, and he can't see the big picture as related to how those white supremacists have set him up so that he can go out here and be a failure. Now, over the last 8 years of Bill de Blasio, New York City has fallen into a state of decline, and what they want to do is use the black man to be the scapegoat for white failure. And that's where Eric Adams did not see the big picture as related to the joke what the white supremacists are playing on him. And because he didn't see that punchline that they're setting him up for, he's thinking he actually has a chance of fixing New York City, the same way David Dinkins thought he had a chance of fixing New York City after 8 years of Abe Beame and 12 years of Ed Koch. And David Dinkins basically got set up for failure, and once he got set up for failure, he thought as the first black mayor he would have success, but he had no success at all. And eventually what the white supremacists did was use him to set him up for a punchline, where they wanted to say, if you put a black man in a leadership position, he will not be able to handle the job. And that proved their point, and for 30 years, New York City did not have a black mayor, and now they have a second black mayor after 30 years, and he's been set up in the same position to be the guy who doesn't understand that he is the punchline of the cruel joke that white supremacy loves to play. And as Eric Adams has gone on in the last year or so as mayor, he has basically been proving the white supremacist point that when you give a black man power, he would not know how to handle it. Because as he was out here looking to socialize with many of these prominent white celebrities, dignitaries, and other socialites, he has been out here chasing clout, not understanding that he is being misled on the same road to becoming the same punchline that the white supremacists want to set up so that they can have a laugh at his expense. And as he's been out here, he's basically been playing the role of the modern day George Jefferson. And as he's been playing the modern day George Jefferson, chasing after the equivalent of Mr. Whitendale and Joe Biden and Kathy Hochul, he has basically become a joke to many of the prominent white dignitaries and socialites who will put on airs and paste on smiles as he's out here thinking that he's hobnobbing with them, not understanding that the white supremacists are setting him up again to be the cruel punchline. And that's the whole thing that many, again, prominent blacks like Eric Adams don't understand. They don't understand that the white supremacists will pay you attention, but it will cost you later on. And that's what happens to many black bootlicks out here. They're so caught up in their emotions about the attention that they are receiving. They're so caught up in their emotions about the prominent white folks who are introducing themselves to them that they're not critically thinking about why they have been placed in this position. And the reason why they have been placed in this position has nothing to do with their degrees, has nothing to do with their educations, has nothing to do with their place in social circles. The main reason they are there is because the white supremacist believes that they are naive. The white supremacist knows that they're desperate. The white supremacist knows they have low self-esteem. And the white supremacist knows that since they are desperate, naive, and have low self-esteem, they can go out here and take advantage of them and set them up in a place where they are on the road to becoming the punchline of their cruel joke. And as they're thinking, they are rising to higher positions in their social hierarchy, the white supremacist eagerly awaits the moment where they can go out here and yank the rug out from under them. And that's where the white supremacist goes out here and is anticipating having a laugh at the expense of these black bootlicks, because they enjoy going out here and making a black bootlick the punchline of their joke, because once they go out here and have them thinking, oh, I've arrived, I'm in this place, that's where the person gets caught up in their feelings, thinking that they have been accepted by white supremacy, and that's when white supremacy yanks the rug out from under those black bootlicks. And as they yank the rug out from under the black bootlicks, they get the same shock to their system that Ralph Ellison described in that classic chapter of his book, Invisible Man. And that's when the black bootlick basically winds up feeling embarrassed about what happened to them. And as they're on the floor, the white supremacists are laughing at them, and they're laughing at them because they realize that it didn't matter how much success they had, they're still an N-word to the white supremacist, who is just out here showing how cruel they are, because they made them wait a long time to go out here and pull the rug out from under them. And that is what is humiliating to them, and that's what the white supremacist wants to do with any prominent so-called black person in the annals of academia, in politics, in business, and entertainment. They want to set them up for failure, because what they want to do is make that black person a punchline of a joke that has gone on for over 3 or 4 centuries, because they have been doing this since the days of the house slave, going out here looking to set black people up for failure. And most of those black folks, again, they get so spellbound, they get so caught up in getting that attention, they get so caught up in receiving rewards from the white supremacists that they're willing to compromise their intangibles of character. They're willing to throw other black people under the bus, and they think that they're going to go out here and achieve greatness. This is the covert contract that they make with the white supremacists, thinking that there is going to be a big reward. But as Professor Black Truth has constantly said in many of his videos, bootlick is a job without a retirement plan. And it's a job without a retirement plan because just as the black bootlick believes they are going to achieve success, the white supremacist yanks the rug right out from under them. And as he and she are yanking the rug right out from under that black person, they're having a good old laugh, because they're saying to themselves, this bootlick basically proves our point that no matter how much education or success you give one of these black people, they will never rise to their level of intelligence, because any person should have been able to figure out that this was a joke being played on them. But the whole thing is, most black bootlicks, again, are extremely desperate and extremely naive, and because they're desperate and naive and are looking to get further up in the social hierarchies at any cost, these are people that the white supremacists can get in front of and take advantage of. And as they take advantage of them and make them think that they're rising in their social hierarchy and rising in their social ranks, many of the bootlicks never ever figure out that they are the person who is the joke, even though they are sitting there laughing with the white supremacist, they never figure out that they are the joke in the room, sadly, until it's too late. And it's only when they get their N-word moment that they realize that they were the punchline. And it's much like the late David Carroll used to talk about in his videos about the movie Carrie. Carrie could never figure out that she was the punchline of the joke. She was basically had low self-esteem and was extremely naive. And she thought, oh, the people there were going to accept her when she went to the prom, not understanding she was the punchline of the cruel joke. And she didn't see it. And again, many black bootlicks never see it, because many black bootlicks never see that you were never a part of the system. No, the system was playing you, and the system doesn't want you, but they think that they have a chance, but you never had a chance to win to begin with. You were most of the black bootlicks were never going to win, because many of the black bootlicks were followers, and what they didn't understand was that their whole follower mindset is the reason why they wind up being led into the slaughterhouse, and they wind up becoming the joke as people go out here and lead to them losing their social life. Again, they wind up becoming embarrassed and humiliated, and they wind up never being able to come back socially. And again, that all suits the white supremacist, because the white supremacist finds black people as entertainment, and that's why you don't want to be a black bootlick, because the road to a black bootlick is always going to end in humiliation, and it always ends in humiliation because the white supremacists never set you up for success from minute one. The only way to win against white supremacy is to never play their game, because when you never play their game, you can never lose. And the only way to win is to not play, and that's something many black bootlicks don't understand. They believe if they play a rigged game, they can win, but you cannot win a rigged game against white supremacy. No, you have to not play at all, because the only way to win is to never play at all. Now, if you would like to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find those books on online booksellers like Amazon.com by clicking the link in the description box. And you can also find them at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And you can also find them at Barnes & Noble and Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available on Lulu, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at lulu.com today.